domination is not so much about doing things. Of course, one could get into bondage and tying your partner up a little bit, or a little bit of role play, or a little bit of discipline, or things like that. But it's really psychological.
Mm-hmm.
It is about, does the woman feel empowered? And I practice with women. That's the main thing. Women and confidence is a big issue. Women and self-esteem is a big issue.
Now, you've mentioned that before. Why do you think? Is it something that how we were brought up?
Yes,
or, yes.
Uh-huh. It's 2,000-3,000 years of patriarchy, male dominance, politically and otherwise relational, has left a lot of markings, and women are coming out of it and men are coming out of it as gender roles are more flexible now, and people can play up their masculine feminine side independent of biological gender. But it is still very ingrained, and different cultures are different. I'm from Germany. I find there are a lot more women into dominance there than here in the United States, where the women are brought up to be a lot more passive and more adhering to a traditional gender role. But in terms of activity, so if a woman is really confident enough and wanting to try this, there are so many things one can do, and that would go back to some of the previous shows we have done. If she's holding the space as a dominant, and her partner is really excited and happy to be there, then anything can happen, and she will make all the shots. And then it would be important to find out what she wants. Does he want to worship her feet? Does he want to bathe her feet? Does he want to make a bubble bath for her and bring her appetizers and a glass of champagne?
Wait, let me write this down. Okay.
or does
that's a good idea.
Or does she actually want to take it further in terms of doing a role play, of putting a collar on him and telling him that he's her toy now, or her slave? And there are so many ways to do it, but it needs to also come from the woman, and the man has to generally like
Enjoy
it.
Yeah. That would make all the difference.
Because it's done with love. It's not done with anger or hatred. It's not done to take revenge on something that somebody at the airport did to you.
Now, I would think that, because we were talking about it before, when people thought of female dominance, they thought of being bitchy. It's actually quite the opposite of being bitchy, I think, in my idea, because I think that female dominance is something where you're assured of your own sense of value, and so you don't need to take it out on anyone else or pull it from anyone. It's right all here for you.
Exactly. I have worked a lot with dominatrixes and other women in the dominant lifestyle, and the very dominant women are the ones, they don't scream very much or yell, because they don't need to. They are comfortable with who they are.
Now that brings up a good question. I would wonder why a dominatrix would need to see you for counseling for female dominance. I mean, what issues does a woman who every day her job is to be in charge and be a female dominant to men or women, what issues would she bring to you?
It's a very stressful job. There are lots of people who call and don't show up. That's one big thing. How to make sure that she doesn't have the no-shows. How does she? There are ways to testing that and making the person prove his reliability. Then a lot of dominatrixes are not really that dominant to begin with. It's a job they're doing. It's a role play they're doing. They get paid for it. They're mostly serving their clients.
Really? So they're not naturally, it's not something that comes naturally to them. It's something that they're doing as a job?
For some of them. Some dominatrixes are truly dominant, and they will live that lifestyle even after hours, after their job is over.
Well, that brings up an interesting question to me, is if you are counseling a dominatrix, in her downtime, does she tend to be more passive in order to balance it?
Some are and some aren't. There are some dominatrixes, professional dominatrixes, who do the female dominance role for pay with willing clients and who in their private lives are submissive themselves. They may be submissive to another woman, or they may be submissive to a man. Others are switches. They can go either way. And then some dominatrixes are always dominant. And some dominatrixes are not into the power play lifestyle at all. After work, they want to have nothing to do with it. So because it's a job. But we're talking about female domination and female superiority and all these different topics by people who really mean it.
Right. Now, you brought up a term, female superiority. Is that different than female dominance?
Yes, female superiority is at one end of the spectrum, the more extreme end of the spectrum.
Describe how a day in the life of a superior female would flow.
Well, the ideal day, or the not so ideal
the
day?
ideal
The ideal day. Okay.
Yes.
The ideal day would be she gets awakened by a gentle bell ring, and her slave brings her the breakfast in bed, and everything is sparkling clean, and the other slaves made a lot of money for her.
Wow.
That kind of a fantasy.
I'm wondering why there's not more of that lifestyle.
Well, because it's very difficult to accomplish.
What is difficult about that?
Because it's a fantasy more than anything. You know, it is a fantasy, and I know women who live that lifestyle and for who it works very well. But there's also very strong women who really like to be in control all the time. Most women don't like that. They want to kick back. They want to lean their head on the shoulder of a man or partner, and they don't want to be in charge all the time. But the women who really are dominant all the time and live in that lifestyle with their one submissive husband or slave, whatever, or even more than one person, I know some women who do that. I'm making a movie about one of them.
What is the movie called?
My Husband is My Slave.
Okay. I like the name.
It's not finished yet.
Okay. And where could we see this?
When it's out, I'll put it on my website.
Okay, and that's right under you right now, I think. So another thing I wanted to know was, do women, when they become more not aggressive, it's a dominant woman, okay, so you're becoming more dominant, does it suddenly change other aspects of your life? Do you bring that to work a little bit, or if it worked here in the bedroom, maybe try this a little at work, or does it change someone's personality when you get not the dominatrix but the housewife end of it? Do you see things change within that woman when she expresses or experiments some of these things?
I've seen beautiful changes where women I've worked with over a period of years have gained a lot of confidence, where often beautiful women, physically attractive women, and that doesn't mean needing to look like a model. They can be much larger than models would be, or older. That's not a problem, but keeping yourself in well-kept shape is important. So if they have good experience as a dominant with their partners or in their lifestyle, to whatever degree they want to do it, it does influence the rest of their life a lot, and they have gained confidence over the years and hold a more natural sense of authority.
Now, this brings up an interesting topic also in the Mama Gina book. I love that book. I keep on mentioning it, but it has a lot of parallels. And it says within it that the first step you need to be in order to be a goddess is that you need to treat yourself wonderfully. Do at least one wonderful things for yourself each day to make you feel full, because once you're full, then you can feel more confident. And a lot of people, I think, have trouble asking their partner to do things for them because they don't even do it for them. So the act of treating yourself really wonderfully, making your own bubble bath, eating lovely food that you love, getting that special wine, that's all wonderful things to make you feel more confident and thereby enabling you to become more dominant.
Well, I would recommend that to women, regardless of whether they're interested in female domination or not. Because it's a very good thing for self-esteem and well-being to treat yourself well. And that may include doing physical exercise that makes you feel energetic and makes you feel good about your body. And also realizing that everybody is very special. Every human being is here on earth very unique and very special.
And that they deserve it.
They sure do, yeah.
Absolutely.
And if a woman has positive experiences with a submissive man, she will glow and feel really good about it. I have seen it happen. And there are so many men out there that are very interested in learning to be submissive. It's sexy to them. They enjoy serving a woman.
And these are usually very powerful men, too. It's not something that it's just, very passive men. It's quite the opposite.
Yes, often so.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Gabriele Hoff. Any little final comments you want to make before we finish the show?
Well, I do see a nice development moving in the right direction, and I'm hope to help some people with it.
Excellent. And your website is right underneath us right now, so you can visit lifestyleeducation.net and learn more about Gabriele. Give her a call if you'd like to. And thank you for joining us here on SF Live TV. Gabriele Hoff, thank you very much. And goodbye.